So how important is the Cybertruck to Tesla's share price? Now we just heard the announcement, the Cybertruck will commence production, and 2024 will be the first year when we actually see some ramp up with regards to the Cybertruck. But the real question here is, how big is this for Tesla as a company? And more importantly, for investors, how big is this for the share price? Because at the end of the day, every single Tesla investor cares about the share price long term. So how impactful is this on the share price of Tesla? My name is Tom Nash, and this is exactly the question we're going to answer today. Now, I've made my own DCF, a discounted cash flow valuation model of Tesla. We're going to take a look at the DCF without the Cybertruck and the DCF after the Cybertruck gets into ramp up. And we're going to see the difference of the share price. And don't forget, the stock market is always forward looking. So whatever I'm going to show you on the screen is quickly going to get priced into the current share price of this stock. It doesn't wait for the thing to happen, but once that certainty level goes up, it's going to get mostly priced in very, very quickly, especially with a stock like Tesla that tends to price in future success very, very quickly. So the opportunity window here isn't big. As always, in Tesla's case, there will be people who will be cynical and negative, and they will miss out, and that's okay. This video is not for them. Now, what we're looking here quick is the DCF model that I'm going to use for this video. Now, look, a DCF model is not perfect, and I was working as a senior manager for Deloitte, and I was doing these sort of DCF myself when I was doing diligence on companies. Of course, we were using much more elaborate models, but make no mistake, I think this is better. A 5-year DCF like this, very simplified, is the way to go. Now, what do we have here under the hood? Number one, we have this. This is going to be the foundation of our DCF, the calculation of the cost of capital. In order for us to estimate how much the company is worth with the Cybertruck and without the Cybertruck, we first have to lay the foundation. Every DCF model at the end of the day is one thing and one thing only: the sum of all the cash flows that Tesla will generate in its life cycle, discounted back to today based on the risk profile of the company. Let me give an example. If I owe you $1 million in 5 years, and I'm offering you to give you a lump sum today in lieu of that 1 million, how much would you take? Well, you probably would take 300, 400,000, 500,000, 600,000. Depends on how much risk I pose. If I'm a wealthy person with ties to the community and I'm making a lot of money and I'm respectful, then my risk profile is low. But if I'm some sketchy dude and I owe $1 million and you don't even know if I'm going to be there in 5 years, you probably take 200,000 just to eliminate that risk. So that risk, the higher the discount rate is, the more the valuation of the company drops down, the more the future cash flows get squashed. Now, in the case of DCFs, we use a cost of capital to reflect that risk. That discount rate is essentially the weighted average cost of capital of the company. And this is what you're seeing here, the WACC, W-A-C-C. So this is the calculation of the WACC, the weighted average cost of capital of Tesla. If you want to learn how to do these for yourself and how this whole thing works, join our Patreon. Patreon.com/Tom Nash. I teach these things on our Patreon, especially in our academy, but more on that towards the end of the video. Let's move on. So the weighted average cost of capital of Tesla is 14%. Now, the reason it's 14% is very, very simple, just to keep things on a high level, is because Tesla has no debt, virtually. So the cost of capital of Tesla will be primarily an average of the cost of capital it has. And since they don't have debt, then it's pretty much 100% based on how much the equity cost is. And the equity cost for Tesla is 14%. Now, the way it's calculated is not very complicated. You can see here on the screen. You can pause the video. But essentially, we take the risk-free rate, we take the equity percentage, we take the overall equity value, the risk premium, which is pretty much how much you can get in the S&P, minus the risk-free rate, and we create a calculation that gives us 14% for Tesla. Now, 14% isn't cheap. It's a high cost of capital. Most people that do Tesla DCFs use either 10% or 12%, and I think that's wrong. I think 14%, although it's very harsh on Tesla, this is the right way to do it. So I think Tesla is a 14% discount rate. Next, let's go to the sales, and let's go over the sales quickly. Of course, you can see here the Cybertruck is at 0. We have a 35% revenue growth without the Cybertruck, and at the end of the day, we're going to base it on a 19% EBITDA margin. This is what we're going to get as far as the DCF. Now, this DCF includes a $73.3 billion CapEx, capital expenditures, mainly to build new factories. Again, without the Cybertruck, $73 billion I think is normal, and an 8% effective tax rate, which is where Tesla operates. In the general sense of the word, we're creating here a free cash flow, FCF, line number 10. We're creating a free cash flow for every single year going forward, and then we're bringing it down, we're discounting it by the discount rate, by the WACC, the weighted average cost of capital, based on the amount of years we're going into the future. So at the end of the day, we're getting this present value sum. Now, $133 billion is what we get here, and that is how much Tesla present value of all their future cash flows is worth. But wait, this is not yet the end. We also have to include future growth beyond that 5-year period, and this is what we get here. Present value of terminal value, $427 billion, and the total is $583 billion, because we also have to take into account the massive amount of cash they have and the lack of debt. So $583 billion, this is the total value of Tesla without the Cybertruck based on my DCF. Of course, I'm also using here a multiple, an EBITDA multiple of 10, and that's going to give me $676 billion. So without the Cybertruck, Tesla, based on a very, very conservative model with 14% discount rate, which is very high, $73 billion of spending on capital expenditures, is between $583 billion and $676 billion as it stands. Now, obviously, it's trading at $880 billion, but this is just to show you the impact. Now, we're going to add in the Cybertruck. The only thing we're going to change here is we're going to add another $20 billion in capital expenditures. We're going to go up to $94 billion in capital expenditures from 73, because we believe that another $20 billion is what it will take to build more factories to make these extra Cybertrucks. And we're going to assume that Tesla will eventually ramp up to 300 to 500,000 units of Cybertrucks at the maximum level capacity for the near future. Again, same data, same discount rates, same everything, but look at what the difference is here. $773 billion of total value and $916 in multiple value. And now let's go back to the original DCF and look at the share price here. In the original DCF, without the Cybertruck, Tesla is currently $199 per share. But once you factor in just the Cybertruck, no semi, no insurance, no the Tesla bot, none of this AI stuff, no robotaxi, we still have a lot of things to add to this DCF to actually make it make sense. But just the Cybertruck alone adds from $199 to $266. This is with the Cybertruck. So we're talking about an add of about $70 per share just on the delta between without the Cybertruck, with the Cybertruck. So that's a $70 bump in the share price, which I see that will be reflected at the share price from this point on. I don't know how long it's going to take. With the case of Tesla, it usually takes a lot faster than other companies because Tesla tends to price in future success. Now, always remember with Tesla, it's always pricing in the future faster than most other companies. So it will never be trading at the level that is the fair market value. Tesla is always trading forward. It's always trading based on future success. So when you get this fair market value of $266, don't expect the company to drop to it. It might not. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. This is not financial advice. I'm not telling you to buy or sell Tesla. I'm just telling you that I believe the difference, the impact here, if you were wondering what's the impact of the Cybertruck on the Tesla share price, it's another $70 today to the share price. Again, I don't know when it's going to be reflected, how long it's going to take, how much of it is already reflected, but that's the difference. I think it's massive for Tesla. It's massive for the auto industry, because at the end of the day, we're talking about Tesla entering for the first time in history into the most lucrative target market in the United States auto industry. The trucks, the pickup trucks. This is the bread and butter of the US auto industry. In fact, the North American auto industry. And Tesla finally jumping into that category for the first time in its history is going to rock everybody's world. We're talking about a very cautious estimate here that $70, I think, is just the start. And of course, if you want to learn how to do these things for yourself, these DCF models, these evaluations, how to become a better long-term investor, how to create your own process, your discipline, your system, how to do this for yourself, join our Patreon at patreon.com/Tom Nash. We have a brand new Tom's Academy, which I urge you to check out. We also have the general Discord, which is available for every single Patreon member. We have a lot of value there. Join it, try it. 30 days, money back guarantee to every new member to try it out. No problem, no questions asked. As always, thank you for spending these few minutes with me. I'll see you in the next video.